Now we come to take a look in the second sequence we'll cover in the chapter called geometric sequence. And then before we come into the details, so let's have a recall first. Beforehand, we have the first sequence called arithmetic sequence. We call it AS in abbreviation, which is about, in order to get the preceding terms, that means the next term, you just add or minus of a certain number, which we will call it common difference. And then so for geometric sequence, can you make a guess in what notation, what operation we will use in order to get the next term? It's not very hard to guess because it's about times and division this time. And then now come to take a look in the definition. A geometric sequence will be a sequence which is there is a common ratio between any two terms. And then so it's very hard to understand it, right? So that's why we stick on to the notations we are going to use in geometric sequence. And then here comes two examples. Okay, for the first one, you will see that the numbers are decreasing, but this time it's not minus a certain number, minus a certain number like in AS. But in this question, you will see that every time we divide 3 to get the next term, to get the preceding terms. Or you may present it as like, you may say it's divided by 3 or it's multiplied by 1/3. It's also all right. So this is the one of the example in geometric sequence. While in geometric sequence, it can be increasing as well. Like the second example, you have 1/2, 1, 2, 4, and dot, dot, dot. In order to get the preceding terms, you will see that this time is multiply 2, multiply 2, and multiply 2. And then so now, would you please bear in mind that geometric sequence is talking about a division or a multiplication of a certain number in order to get the next term. Like in AS, we also have a formula for GS as well. And then now we come to take a look how we can prove or to deduce the formula by ourselves. And afterward, of course, it goes to your work to remember it. So let's start. First term, it will be A, like the notation we use in AS. A always refer to the first term. How about we highlight it here? And then afterward, because this time is multiply or divide by a certain number, so we no longer call it a common difference, which we use D in AS, but it's called common ratio, R. And then in order to get the next term, every time we multiply R for the next one. So if you are talking about division, it may be like multiply 1/2, multiply 1/3. So the ratio R is still multiply 1/2, multiply 1/3. And in order to get the third number, is multiply R one more time, AR squared, AR cubed, and etc. Okay, so we still use the notation as follow. So for example, T1, you say that there is no R. T2, there is R to the power 1. T3 is R to the power 2, a square. T4 is R to the power 3. So can you make a guess now? What should be the function Tn general term of GS? You will find that every time there should be an A in every term in the sequence, and they should be talking about R to the power something according to the position. Position 1, no R. Position 2, 1 R. Position 3, R squared. Position 4, R cubed. Can you make a guess of the power of R in general term? Yes, perfectly. Now it goes to AR to the power n-1, which is the general term or function which helps us to find the term in geometric sequence. Please take time to remember it as soon as possible. Next, we come to a very typical example about GS. Now let's take a look in the question. It's a GS, and you have certain numbers over there. And now you will see that you're asking to find the first term as well as the common ratio R. Okay, and first term A is very simple. You just read the first number, which is 81. Okay, but common ratio R, it requires you to remember kind of formula you need to know. Like in common difference in AS, we have a formula, while in common ratio, this time is a ratio. Ratio is a fraction. So it would be, in order to get the ratio, you use the latter term divided by the previous term. And so bear in mind this formula, which helps you to find the ratio properly, quickly in a question. So as a result, the ratio this time will be, if you're smart enough, of course, you can see it's divided by -3. or is multiplied by -1/3. But if you cannot do it, it's fine. Pick two numbers next to each other and use the latter one divided by the previous one. And you will still see that is -1/3 for the common ratio. Or if you can try some other pairs like 9 and -27, 9 over -27 is also -1/3. So either of them works in order to get the common ratio. So you bear in mind this formula, of course. And then afterward, you are asked to find the general term, Tn. Do you still remember the formula itself? That's good. This time Tn will be ar to the power n minus 1. So that's why Tn will be A is 81, R is -1/3 to the power n minus 1. And then it is the general term. And then, but for some of you, you will notice that 81 is 3 to the power 4, or further write it as -3 to the power 4, etc. So that's why this expression, I mean the answer, can be further written as -1/3 to the power n minus 5. So you can maybe try it out by yourselves to see whether you can get the answer or not. It's a bit challenging work. Last, it seems like there's a harder question over there. I'm asking you how many terms are there in the sequence. So what does that mean? Now you see that 81 is the first term, -27 the second one, 9 is the third one. Now the last number will be -1/243. And is it like, if you know the position of it, so you want to know what is Tn, for example, it may be 10, let's say, and then you know that there are 10 terms over there, isn't it? So that's why the question of number of terms in the sequence, now it can be reduced to a question of what is the position of this last number. If you know its position is 10, it may be 20, it may be 15, then you know the answer afterward. Okay, so here we start. And then now the question will be in part C, we are not going to find the number of terms, but we are writing as Tn is -1/243. And my target will be finding the value of n out. According to part B, you have 81 divided by -1/3 to the power n minus 1 equal to -1/243. From calculator, you can remove the 81, which gives you -1/3 to the power n minus 1 is -1/19683. Quite terrible, right? And then now you can see that the question is asking you to find the power. What technique shall we use? Yes, that's good. If you want to find the unknown in the power, normally we take log. But luckily this time there's a trouble because when you take log on both sides, okay, take log on both sides. Now you've got trouble because log a negative number is error, log a negative number is an error. So sorry, in this method, you've got the technique correctly, perfectly, but it doesn't work. So methods like this, sometimes we need to find another way to do so. And then as a result, now we have another way to do the question because log doesn't work, though it would be a very good way to find the power in the index, the unknown in the index. Okay, so as a result, what shall we do? The technique of this question would be, you do expect that for this number, it should be a power of -1/3 because you expect n should be like an integer. It may be 9, maybe 10, maybe 11, etc. Now it goes to a method of trial and error. Can you try out -1/3 to the power 2, -1/3 to the power 3, -1/3 to the power 4, so and so that you can achieve this number. Okay, take a minute to try it out by yourselves. Okay, at last, can you find out that this number, -1/19683, is -1/3 to the power 9? If you do, then it's almost the end of the question, because now the question or on both sides they share the same base. As a result, the index should be equal to each other, which means now you've got n minus 1 is equal to 9 and n equal to 10, and we finished the question. In this question, and I would like to share you a trick or a little technique we will use quite often in dealing with GS. So let's read. In the question, it tells you that there is fourth term, sixth terms, GS. There are two numbers, 88 and 352 respectively, and you want to find the general terms. Okay, of course, first of all, you need to spell the formula, which is called a r to the power n minus 1. And then, in order to find the general term, that means the question is requiring to find a and r out. So that's why the question will be reduced to, you're not just finding general term itself, but you are finding a and r. So this is the problem. And with the information of the fourth and the sixth term given, and then now can you work it out like fourth term, that means you put n to be 4. That means T4 will be AR to the power 3, while sixth term T6 will be equal to AR to the power 6 minus 1, which is a 5. So as a result, in order to start a question, and of course you can still write Tn is AR to the power n minus 1 first. And afterward, according to the information fourth and the sixth term, you've got AR cubed equal to 88 and AR to the power 5 equal to 352. So this is the two pieces of information given to you, as well as you are going to use these two equations to find two unknowns in the question. But unlike those questions like a plus r is 11 or a minus r is minus 1 that you had in junior form, you may use substitution, eliminations, or even use calculator program to solve it. But now you see that in the question is about product, isn't it? So when you are dealing with product, there is a little skill in dealing with the question, which is, let's wait, let me delete it first. Let me rub away first. So the little trick now I would like to share with you, and I put it here. We use, in order to deal with this product solving equation, we will use division to eliminate, that means to cancel one of the unknown. Now can you see that in the question there's a and a? That means it will be the main target in that we want to cancel it. So please read it carefully afterward. Okay, so now I call equation 1 equation 2 as usual, but now I have equation 2 over equation 1 in my step, which is AR to the power 5 divided by AR cubed, which gives you 352 over 88. So the main point about the technique, the skill will be one of the unknown will be cancelled, and our aim is still we want to have one certain unknown only in our answer. So whereas now you have got r to be plus or minus 2 because it's a square over there. So what does that mean? It means now you have two sets of possible answers for this GS because you've got 2r already. And then in presentation, please note it carefully. We will write as, because there are two sets of answers, we start with a statement like the condition. So when r is 2, you've got a 2 cubed is equal to 88. That means a will be 11. And as a result, the general term Tn will be 11, which is a, and then times 2 to the power n minus 1. And that's all. Okay, now we start with the second statement saying that r is minus 2. Well, and it's minus 2 to the power 3 is 88, which means a will be minus 11. I have no space, I put it here on top. Finally, you have Tn will be minus 11 times minus 2 to the power n minus 1. And then this is another way, or not another way. This is the second answer of the question. Next and the last question will be an example which you need to use the technique about ratio. Common ratio r is equal to the latter term divided by the previous term. So let's see what's happening. And each of the following is given is a geometric sequence, and you are asked to find the value of x. Now in the question, you will see that there are three terms, right? So in my experience, when the question is setting is like this way, you are given three terms with an unknown, it's very likely to be using, or I should say very likely to use this formula called common ratio. It's about letter term over the previous term. So you bear in mind it. So compared to AS, it will be letter term minus the previous term. Maybe we can go back to it afterward. So as a result, what does that mean? It means that the letter term x plus 3 over x, which is a common ratio, you bear in mind that this is your common ratio. Okay, similarly, if you pick these two, okay, if you pick the other two, called x plus 9 over x plus 3, it's still the common ratio. And then because common ratio is constant, that means they are equal to each other. So you can quickly set up the equation accordingly, very quickly, right? And then for the rest, it will be just simple solving equation problem. So it's like x plus 3 bracket square multiplied to x plus 9, xn times x plus 9. And afterward, you simplify the expression. You have x squared 6x plus 9. You have x squared 9x, 3x equal to 9, and at last x equal to 3. It's quite easy, right? But the main point is how you can set up the equation by the way how we look at common ratio R. Similarly, in part B, you have this time first two numbers, x and x plus 10. So you check for the common ratio. 9x and x plus 10, 9x and x plus 10, you have another common ratio, and they should be equal to each other. As a result, you have x plus 10 bracket square is 9x squared, and take a short while to simplify it. You may pause the video for a short while, and you do it by yourselves. But by the way, I go ahead to simplify the expression. And now you have x squared, 20x, and 100 equal to 9x squared. Moving everything to the left-hand side, you have x squared minus 20x minus 100. With the help of calculator formula 1 or program, you've got minus 2.5 or equal to 5. And that is for the question. Is it that quite easy? And now we go to the case of AS. AS, the formula will be quite different because you're talking about common difference is a longer division, but it's talking about subtraction. Letter term minus the previous term. So for example, like if you have x plus 7, so what should I have? Like maybe x plus 7, hey, what shall I do? 2x for example, like this one is AS. We want to find x. So in this case, according to the feature about common difference, you have x plus 7 equal minus x is equal to 2x plus 10 minus x plus 7. So you check for the difference of the two terms next to each other. As a result, on the left is a 7. Well, on the right is x plus 3. That means x is a 4. And then, so this is another way which demonstrates the idea about how you can make use of the way how you get common difference, a common ratio first, and common difference in order to find unknown in the question about GS and AS respectively.